Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Jesse Jackson III. I'm the best-selling author and facilitator of the Don't Kick 'Em Out book and training series and the lead advisor and consultant here at the Best Man Company, LLC. Super excited. We're coming off the best school year of our practice. We've seen much success, many gains. A lot of schools have gone through very serious processes, meaning that means they commit to working on an issue in their organization, and we stay committed to it the whole year. Meaning they're working on their culture. So if they want to change something like student attendance, we stay committed to that process the entire year. That means we actually do training, we actually do intervention, we actually review our results. That's what the process is. A lot of times with a lot of interventions and models, the missing key is the ability to follow up, actually know how to measure results, right? Look at what is the target we're looking for, and then what is the result of that? The difference is when you're talking about things like school culture, that's a different matrix. You're looking for something different. So a lot of people will ask me, Jackson, tell me about some of the schools that use your fight prevention program, right? Well, it's like I would want to see the data. You don't get it because that's not it. Now I can tell you, and this is the book, by the way, everybody that stayed with the system I told them on how to decrease their fights, everybody that did it, their fights came down the second semester. All high schools, right? I'm thinking right now of 3 high schools in California. I'm thinking of 5 high schools right now in Louisiana, right? They stayed with it. It came down. What are you looking for, right? When the fighting gets under control, what that means is you have changed the culture. What we think is this stuff is a magic wand. It's not. Where a lot of buildings really struggle is they don't have the adult commitment to consistency, following through. One person used to call it buy-in. I hate that word. I like to call it cooperation. One staff that really seen great gains second semester, meaning environmentally, it just kind of cleaned up. We talked about toxic staff behavior. Well, we were able to show everybody in the organization that is the behavior that makes it hard to work here. If you're doing that, you're going against what we're trying to do as a unit. That's anti-education. That's anti-organization. Well, guess what? Everybody was able to see it. A lot of people saw themselves on the board. Well, guess what? Nobody wants to be that. Right? No, if you ever ask a person, are you toxic? 100% of people say no. They don't even know what it is. A lot of times we've got used to just doing things a certain way, and we'll call it, I'm just venting. Oh, it's okay to complain. They don't realize the danger of what they're doing. So in any organization that you move forward, it is the ability to get people, the team, to do the same thing. All hands on deck, as we like to say. Everybody understanding what we're doing. That's what builds championship team culture. Where school fighting, if you are an organization that has had a challenge with fighting and you had more of your share of fights last year, once again, take advantage of our School Fighting Institute. Online program is where I invite your school in and we break it down. What are we going to see next year? More of fighting. We're not going to have less fighting. There's going to be more escalation of fighting. What are the trends we're seeing? The girl fights. First question I always ask, boys or girls? The girl fights. When that girl fights start escalating, you just start to see how aggressive it is, how committed the young ladies are to the fighting. Well, there's a lot behind that. And with fighting, always remember this. Whenever you got a lot of fighting going on, trauma is high. Now, you'll have people that say, well, Jackson, we didn't, we came to the thing and we quite didn't understand it. Here's where the deficit is. One thing, and I've seen this, a lot of times with fighting brings poverty. Poverty's mental. A lot of times you have in these suburban districts or working middle class or upper working middle class districts, they don't know how to manage poverty. So they are accustomed to give us a system or give us more police, and that'll stop the fighting, when nothing's further from the truth. Well, that's the middle class mentality, right? That's what you think. What poverty mentality is this on site right now. So I like to always say, I now have to teach schools how to understand the streets, how to understand what poverty is, what it's not, what it's really bringing to campus every day. Where you got kids planning fights, where you got kids on social media telling you they're about to fight, and they're going to come and settle that score on school campus. Why do they do that? It's because guaranteed somebody, I got eyes there, and I have somebody that's going to break it up. It's a whole process to this fighting. And what I'm asking us to do is proaction. Now, once again, it's fundamental. It's my system for everybody. It absolutely is. The question is, are you willing to do it? And that's where people get stuck. You can't ask a suburban principal that doesn't understand the streets to understand things you got to put in place for safety and security in a street environment, even in a rural environment that has brought elements of the streets. You don't even know what you're looking at. You don't even know what the problems are. You don't even know the signs. I'm working with right now an inner city school principal, large high school on the West Coast. He's not a street guy. I'm not a street guy, but I come from Detroit. I come from neighborhood hostility. I come from gang and drug territory. I was born and raised in that, right? As even in my career, I continue to work in schools in those neighborhoods. And a juvenile facility, a pod that I was running in my pod, felons. We're talking about hundreds of kids that have come through my program. So I understand the element of poverty in streets. So that gives me an advantage. Well, if I have somebody that doesn't, now you start to see the deficit. That means you got to be trained. And that means you have to be open. And that means you got to have the right trainer. This is not something, this requires time. A lot of people are looking for magic formulas. They're looking for things that they readily understand. Nothing about trauma is like logical. It's trauma. It's negative experiences, right? And nothing about poverty, the oppression of the mind and spirit that makes sense. You've got to go through, you have to be trained, you have to learn. And that's what our Fighting Institute is about. If you are a school, then you know you have had great challenges with fighting and you want to get in front of fighting for the rest of, get in front of it for the upcoming school year. You know you need guidance. You know your team needs help. You know you as a principal, you need some help. This Fighting Prevention Institute is for you. All of the details are below, dates and times. Please get in a class. These things fill up pretty quickly, but it's about giving you the insight and knowledge you need and the proactive measures that you can be successful in this. I am Dr. Jackson. I'm looking forward to working with you soon. I'll see you in class.